everyone. Thanks for tuning back into Sober Stories, where we interview sober people in sobriety. Oh my gosh.
Today, I'm camera shy, yo.
Today we have a really special guest who has, honestly, you've been like such a profound part of my sobriety, Xavi. And
yeah, same to you for sure.
I know it's like all fun and games and we're laughing, but sobriety is a hell of a journey, and I'm really grateful for you because I met you exactly when I needed to meet you, and I'm just really grateful for that day that I heard you share at Alano, and I'm so grateful for you for being on here and being open enough to share your story with everyone.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Man, that day at Alano feels like so long ago.
So long ago.
Oh my God. Yeah, hi, my name is Xavi. I don't know what else to say besides that.
You're an alcoholic?
Yes, I am a drug addict and alcoholic. I like to identify as both because in my understanding, some people will disagree with this. In my understanding, like the specific substances or the specific like behaviors like gambling, sex, fentanyl, alcohol, whatever, like addiction in general, to me, it just manifests itself in many different forms, but it's still addiction at the end of the day. So I like to identify as both like an addict and an alcoholic. A lot of people don't like that at meetings, but it's just something I like to do because for me, it's all like the same. For me, it's all like the same thing. Like it's all the same disease. Like there's different cures for different symptoms. Yeah, but like at the end of the day, like we're all on the same mission no matter what our substance is. So that's my little rant before we start, by the way.
Wait, pause really quick. I just want to make sure. I'm going to cut this part out, but I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you want to start? Do you want me to start by asking you some questions first? Okay.
Sorry, I'm like all nervous,
no,
camera
it's
shy.
It's okay. Drink some water.
Yeah.
Oh, I could ask you so many questions, honestly. I guess we'll start just so everybody knows a little bit more about you. How long do you have sober right now, and how long have you been on your personal sobriety journey?
So I wish I could come on here and tell people that I have like all this time sober and I've like mastered the art of AA, but I have like just about 30 days sober. And I've been on this journey for the better half of 2 years. So it's definitely been a journey. It's definitely been a lot of like falling down, getting back up, like getting knocked on my ass and having to get right back up. But somebody told me, somebody you had with you on here actually recently told me, they were like, you never lose like what you learn in previous attempts. And I saw this whole like motivational video earlier about how like it was like Kobe Bryant saying how he gets like excited for failure because it's like an opportunity to like, pick apart, what happened and, how to move forward from it, like basically overcoming weaknesses and everything. I think that can apply to addiction too. Do I get excited when I mess up? Do I get excited when I relapse? Do I get excited when things don't go my way? No, absolutely not. Like, I'm an addict. I wish everything would just go my way and everything, but if everything did and like life was just a cruise, I wouldn't learn anything and I wouldn't change as a person. So I'm grateful for the journey I've had. I'm grateful I've survived it so far. I'm really hoping this is the time like I can, keep it up and you feel me? Like God willing, like this is my last time having to like take a 30-day trip and everything, but we will see because I've gotten on that pink cloud before and, it's ended terribly. So just God willing, wherever God will take me, we'll see where we go.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's great advice. And I really appreciate your honesty always, Xavi. It's like one thing that's really drawn me towards you always at meetings and everything. And I think that's why we click, to be honest, because it's kind of hard for us to just like not be real and to not hold back the truth, like we wear it on our skin, and I think that's a really beautiful thing, and I think a lot of addicts are like that as well. But I kind of just would like to ask, I like what you said right now, but maybe with some advice that you would give to some other people who are relapsers, just so that they don't feel hard on themselves or anything like that.
So are you asking about like relapse prevention or like how to get through a relapse?
Go with both. Go off.
So like relapse prevention, the best advice I can give is to listen to advice. I know for me, like in the past, I've been very hard-headed, and the times where I actually like slow down and like am willing to listen to people, I've noticed are the times where I'm doing a whole lot better in life. You hear it all the time. My ideas aren't the brightest ideas, whatever. That's definitely the case with me. Going through a relapse, like I said earlier with the I don't like to call relapse a failure, but like I'm gonna be honest, like for me mentally, that's like what I tell myself it is when I go through it. I'm sure I'm not the only one who does that, but I don't like the word failure for it because it's like a learning experience. But like I said about failure earlier, like, you feel me? It is a learning opportunity, and like all a fall down means is like, maybe there was something you were missing. Maybe there was some advice you weren't taking. Maybe, you feel me? It's just a lot of things. I could come up with like a whole bunch of different shit, but everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own reasons why they relapse. It's just about, for me, it's self-forgiveness. Like forgiving myself, but not like, because like, you feel me, we have like newcomers in the rooms and stuff, and like even me when I've relapsed, like people have like been like, not beating me down for it, but like stern with me about it. It's like, okay, well, what were you not doing this past time around? Not like be like, oh, you're a dumbass, you're a piece of shit. Like, no, we don't shoot our wounded here, but it's like people have had to be real with me. So I say that to say, like, it's about the self-forgiveness and giving myself that compassion, but also being real with myself and being able to listen to other people's advice instead of just being in my own head. And like, because if I'm just in my own head listening to myself, I'm just going to keep going with it. I've already started. I'm off to the races, right. You feel me? So,
that kind of brings me to my next question. Thank you. What about for someone who, let's say, is relapsed and they don't want to go back to the rooms? Like, how do you get back in the rooms? How do you find that humility, that willingness? Is it hard for you?
Yeah, it is hard. I'm somebody who's like been very known to like come back to the rooms, but like I will disappear for like certain lengths of time, and it is the most, like for me, I've never had more than like 3 months sober, and even for me, like after having gotten a 60-day chip, like this past sobriety, I had hit like 82 days or some shit, and after I relapsed, like I stayed quiet in meetings. I had to like pull myself out of bed. Like my body felt like it was like 400 pounds. Like I had to like literally force myself out of bed to get up and go to a meeting. Right. And when I would get there, I would sit up with my hood in the back, because it was like, no matter what time you have, it is embarrassing, or I don't want to say it is embarrassing, but it feels embarrassing to go up, especially to one of your home groups, and have to tell everybody, or not like tell everybody, but take another newcomer chip or identify as a newcomer again. No matter how much time you have, no matter what you put into sobriety, like that is one of the hardest things we go through in this program. But for me, it's not to throw all the cliches in here, but it's like, would I rather the embarrassment, quote unquote, the embarrassment of like identifying as a newcomer again, or would I rather, hurt a bunch of people, spiraling further into my addiction and possibly not being able to come back to the rooms? So I don't know. It's just a lesser of two evils for me. Like I don't want to die. You feel me? Like I sounded so unsure of that. No, I promise. I don't want to die, even though my addiction like tells me I want to. Like that's not what I want to do. Like I'm sure like every addict like has that like dream or something they want to do. Like, I'm sure every addict has that one thing they've thought about since they were a kid that they want to, like, you know, pursue, like, as a dream or something. And for me, that's what keeps me going. Like, if I don't get sober, if I don't better my life, I'm missing out on all these different opportunities. Like, you know me, I'm a creative person. I do a lot of creative outlets.
So good.
And I wouldn't be able to do like the music, dress myself up in Clippers outfits, and like I wouldn't be able to do all this creative like stuff I do if I don't give myself a chance to, like, it's especially like finding out what I truly love, like who I'm at my core and everything. And if I don't come back to the rooms after like falling short, I'm probably not going to find that out because my addiction will get in the way and not let me do that. So yeah.
100%. I can totally relate to you on so many levels with that, and like being a creative person, but never feeling like, for me, it was feeling like I needed to be high in order to be able to give a fuck enough to make or create anything.
Yeah.
Because when I was sober, it's like I just was depressed and miserable. And
or you get in your head about, oh, it'll sound so much more fire on this other substance or whatever. That shit is so stupid. I write poetry. I've made songs. I go back and listen to songs I've made like while I was under the influence, and like even though it might have like a cool beat or bop your head, like compared to the other stuff I make, it's like mediocre and meaningless. You feel me? Compared to a sober mind where I can actually, dude, this is so crazy, like observe the world around me and like actually pay attention. I know that's such a crazy thought for me specifically because I normally don't do that. I run to a substance to actively avoid doing that. But when I am more observant, when I am more paying attention, you feel me, I get inspiration from things that aren't just drugs or like aren't some like failed situationship or like, you feel me? So like, and that's one of the things I've learned like this last relapse I had too, is like I was talking about earlier, like realizing who I am, like, you feel me? Like I'm a lot more observant and like a lot more like, you know, willing to help other people and willing to put some type of message out there when I'm like sober minded, paying attention and willing to give myself that chance. And
I love that. Beautiful.
Sorry, you asked me questions. I go on like 10-minute tangents. But.
Please go for it all. I guess I'm curious. When did you start your sobriety journey for the first time? Like, how old were you, and what was it? Some sort of spiritual experience that you had that was like a God
I was convinced it was, but it wasn't. I was convinced. I'll get into that in a minute. But so my first time getting sober, my first time going to a treatment center, I should say anyway. I'm gonna say like my first time getting sober, like really knowing what getting sober was, because I had like a tolerance break when I was like 16 and everything, but I didn't like, you know, have the thought process of, oh, I'm trying to be sober. It's like, okay, I'm taking a little break. You feel me? Mm-hmm. My first time actually like trying to get sober with the goal of staying sober, it was actually coming out to California in July of 2024. And then I went to my first AA meeting in August, and they were talking about like, I walked in and they were talking about all the crazy shit. Like, I identified as a newcomer because, like, my homegirl who put me on my Eskimo, I don't know if they use that word anymore, but she told me to identify as a newcomer. So I was like, yeah, my name's Xavi. I'm an addict and alcoholic. And then, or I just said alcoholic because I heard everybody else saying it. The addict alcoholic thing is, like, my own personal choice later down the line. But, no, and then like somebody shook my hand after the meeting and they're like, you said your name was Xavier or some shit. I was like, yeah, nice to meet you. And they're like, nice to meet you too. If you stay here, you'll never have to drink again. I was like, never again? What? What are we talking about? Like at forever? I gotta know. But it was, so I got really blessed with the first meeting because it was actually like an open mic type thing. So like you could come be creative, like say poetry, rap, stand-up comedy, whatever. I've plugged it at a couple of meetings during like AA announcements actually. But it was like a creative meeting and I'm a creative dude. So that was already like going and showing other people my art. That's selfish motivation. It's still motivation to get into the rooms. You feel me? And then that meeting's at Marina Center. Sorry for breaking anonymity, I feel like, but No, but that center has other meetings over there that, you know, after seeing the schedule on the wall, I started going to more of those meetings. Then I had people like, you know, I just started hearing the message a little bit, like, you know, bits and pieces of it as much as I could pick out while not understanding the terms and shit. But it was like, you know, I learned to forgive myself. Things like, you know, I have somewhat of a sense of self. Like, I feel like I have a real identity now. And, you know, those are all things like I wanted and that I was jealous of. I actually hated everybody in LA because I was like, look, or not LA, AA, my bad. I hated everybody in AA because everybody was just laughing and joking together and like everybody seemed all happy. And I was like, what the fuck is everybody smiling about? But no, like, somewhere down the line, I started like actually getting up and taking chips. I started actually like trying to take abstinence away from the substance. My lack of sobriety time, like I said, does not reflect like the journey I've been on, or it does in a way, but I'm talking about the length of time that I've been trying to do this for the better half of 2 years. Like, but somewhere down the line, I started taking sobriety chips. I started like raising my hand to read. Just because I saw everybody else doing it, it looked cool. So I was like, fuck it, I want to be able to flex my reading skills and stuff. And just the more I stayed, the more I heard the message, the more connections I built. Some of what they say in the promises is like really true. Like, you know, even though like I said, I don't have like this massive amount of sobriety time to back it up, but I've definitely learned various things about myself, the way I carry myself now and the way I carried myself like fresh out of addiction, like in an entirely another state. Like, it's two different people. I'm not gonna say night and day. I still definitely have old traits. We all do that we have to like, you know, deal with in our own different ways. But just the way I carry myself and the way I relate to other people, like through the program and through like trying as many times as I have, like, you feel me, I don't want to say I know how to hold connections because I've definitely lost a bunch of people. Like, making connections with people in early recovery is always going to be rough because everybody's going to be dealing with their own shit. But the connections I have made and the connections that have stuck are like really impactful and meaningful to me. And they're like really powerful people in my life. So it's just shit like that like kept me coming back to the rooms. Even still to this day, it keeps me coming back because, like I said, like, would I rather, you know, get uncomfortable, go through the steps, talk about my problems, like, for free, too. It's not like I have to pay to do it. Like, what? It's like $12 for the big book and the 12 and 12, but if you don't have it, somebody will buy it for you. Like, it's pretty much a free book. It is a free program at the end of the day. So it's like, I'm spending all this money on drugs just to get fucked up and potentially die, other than, yeah, I have to do a little bit of homework, quote unquote, but take this free opportunity to actually learn about myself, vent to somebody who doesn't even need to vent to me back. You feel me? Like, a sponsor can just sit there and listen to my problems. Like, who doesn't want that? You feel me? It's just all these opportunities that...
It's amazing.
It's all these opportunities I've taken for granted in the past, for sure. But I'm definitely at a point now where it's like I don't want to take stuff for granted anymore because I feel like I don't have that time to do it. It's essential urgency for me. Like I said, my worst fear is like getting to a point where, you know, I can't come back to the rooms and I can't, you know, share my story and help somebody else. Like, that opportunity gets taken away from me. That's my worst fear. So to wrap it back up, like, that's all of that is what keeps me coming back to the rooms. Just the weighing the consequences and like the opportunities I would lose and the opportunities I would gain by losing other opportunities, you feel me? If that makes any sense.
It does.
So,
It
yeah.
makes total sense. You said something earlier about your identity, and I thought that was really interesting. What would you say your identity was while you were out drinking and using, and what is your identity while you're in sobriety, while you're sober, while you're working a program? My
identity while I was drinking and using was drinking and using. That was my identity. I didn't wake up for any other reason. There was a lifestyle that's like there's a lifestyle involved with the way I was using and everything. And, I made that lifestyle my identity. I wore it on my sleeve. I you know, like to puff out my chest, pretend I was somebody else because like, you know, I convinced myself that I was. And, you know, in sobriety, like I was like kind of gloating about how I was all creative and shit earlier. I'm not creative when I'm like using and everything. I'm just focused on taking a hit and going to sleep because downers are my thing, respectfully. Sorry if that's like a trigger, but yeah, like if I'm not like sober and like actually paying attention to myself or willing to look in the mirror and pay attention to myself, like I don't have an identity that I'm comfortable enough to look at besides the drugs. But in sobriety, like I said, I'm a creative dude. Humor, but it kind of crosses over into like a coping mechanism sometimes. Like I use humor to deflect a lot, but it's like I think I'm a funny guy, you feel me? So like humor is definitely like a part of my identity for sure. It always has been, even before my addiction. Creativity, just love in general. I think I'm a very loving and caring person. When I want to be, in the right circumstances. No, but all jokes aside, like when I care about somebody, I care about them like really deeply, whether that's romantic or platonic or, you know, whatever. And I'm able to show up for those people. And like when I'm sober and I'm in my right mind, I'm the type of dude, like I'll jump in front of a bus for somebody. Like, I don't know whether that's because I don't know no better or I'm just that loyal. You feel me? Like I'm almost loyal to a fault. But that's like kind of a character defect I'm working on, but that's still like a part of who I am. Like I love so intensely and I care so passionately about people.
Right.
So yeah, what did I say? I said creative, humor, loving, caring. I don't know. Despite certain behaviors, I would also like say I'm very self-aware. Like I'm self-aware, but in my addict mind, like I'll still be self-aware while I'm doing drugs, but like I don't care. But like I care more, and like I've been saying this whole fucking interview so far. Like I'm cussing up a storm.
Don't
like
worry.
I've been saying this whole interview, like I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought actually. But
Okay, love it. I had another question. What would you say is the biggest trigger to get you to go out?
biggest trigger, people, places, and things. I'm not even just saying that because like the program tells me to say that. I'm saying that because like what's the first thing you blame when you go out, or what's the first thing you blame when something goes wrong? It's not yourself, you feel me? You're blaming some other person, place, or thing, you feel me? Realistically, when I get asked that question, I don't even say like, oh, it's because of these reasons, or like I lost somebody, or like my answer every time is the same. It's because I wanted to. At the end of the day, like I could come up with all these different reasons and all these different excuses, like why I use and drink, but at the end of the day, it's because my willpower is telling me to. Like I wanted to at the end of the day,
Right.
or not necessarily like I wanted to, because sometimes it's like I'm doing it even when I don't want to, but it's still like in the back of my mind. Like I don't know, nobody's ever like held a gun to my head and forced me to like take a substance. I know that's some people's story and everything, but for me, that's not. So it's like I can't really blame it fully on other things when it was something I did in my willpower. And most of the time, I'm conscious of what I'm doing too. Like if I see a line on the tray, like I know what it is. I'm not stupid. You feel me? I still put myself in the position to, instead of like leaving the situation, or like, you know, just instead of like doing anything to like manage that trigger or anything, just like going for it. Like I'm very conscious when I do that. So, but like I said, like the things I like to blame are people, places, and things for sure. Like that's my immediate go-to when, you know, that's my immediate go-to when I am triggered to relapse. Like that's my immediate thing to blame. But like I don't know, self-righteous answer, I guess, is like I wanted to.
Right.
You feel me?
You said something about willpower. And my question is, how important do you personally think it is for someone to have a spiritual program or spirituality or a connection with God when in sobriety?
How important do I think that is? Very important. I don't
Honestly.
No, that is honest, because respectfully, I don't go about my addiction. This is me personally. I feel like I'm a rare case, but I don't go about my addiction without a higher power. Like, even when, I'm sorry, like when my plug is like pulling up on me, I'm praying to God he doesn't get in an accident or something. I'm praying, like, it's like how like people say they're atheists, but like they get on the plane, there's a bunch of turbulence, and you immediately start praying to God. Like, it's the same thing for me. So I've always had that like kind of consciousness that like there is a higher power. It's like I've always had like some feeling there was something out there, but it's about tapping into it and making like an active connection with that. Like me, when I'm holding on to things and when I'm trying to control everything, I'm driving myself crazy. I'm driving the people around me crazy. And as hard as it is to do, because I am not perfect with it, but if I like give it to God, even if they're like hypothetically, let's say there is no God out there, just the feeling of like just talking to the sky, getting shit off my chest, and just like pretending that it's out somewhere floating in the universe and I don't have to deal with it anymore. Even if there is not a God, that action in itself, that is so helpful. Like, that is so helpful to, you know, relieve pressure and like relieve stress and like maybe help with a trigger if that's the situation. Me personally, I do think there is a God or a spirit of the universe out there. So like it's almost more comforting to know like, okay, something has a hold of that and it will be dealt with in due time. Not my time, God's time. You feel me? That sounded very like cliche programmy, but cliches are cliches for a reason. Like, they're very true. Like, that's why you hear all these like cliches and repetitive sayings. It's because they're true and they have been true time and time again. So yeah, as far as spirituality in the program is very important, and spirituality in my life, even outside the program, is also very important. Like, because we talk about it in the 12th step, like practice these principles in all of our affairs. I can't just be faithful and I can't just be spiritual like when I'm in the rooms of AA to show face. I have to be spiritual in my personal life too. Not even to better myself, yes, but also to keep myself safe and to keep myself out of dangerous situations. Like, if I don't have a connection with my higher power, like, my God will protect me no matter what. But I feel like if I don't establish if I don't like make the actual effort to establish a connection, or at least to start establishing a connection with a higher power, then I'm liable to be in a lot more dangerous situations because I'm not asking like a higher power for help. So yeah, that's a long-winded answer to that. Yeah.
I love you. We need to go back to church together.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We need to go back to church together. Hell yeah.
We do.
I said I wasn't going to do that. I said I wasn't going to do that during this interview. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay, if you want.
I'm sorry, guys. I hit my vape during an interview. Oh, no. Don't smoke, kids. It's bad for you.
I feel like what I was saying earlier about how I feel like we met at such a time where we both really needed each other, and we like met, like, I was so isolated and I was working a program, but
yeah,
I was not in fellowship. I was not with people. I was not, I guess, willing in that way. And
I know. We had to beg each other to go to meetings.
Like, literally,
I remember that.
I don't know. I felt like it was kind of like this really sweet, like, us against the world type of vibe.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Like,
you have definitely been like, this is one of the connections I'm talking about when I talk about connection. Because it's like, I've known you for like the better part of a year now. And like, I remember like, you know, I was also really going through it when we first met and everything. And just like having, you know, that type of support system and everything. Like, we were always at meetings together, just like finding like I said, it's less about like the amount of friends you have in the program. Cause like, respectfully, we're all addicts. Like, a lot of people aren't. Just a little bit of like the way I feel like a lot of people aren't really my friends to begin with, because we're all addicts and because we're all working on ourselves. They call it a selfish program for a reason.
Right.
But when you do find like people like you, and like when you find people like me, and we find like, you feel me? When you just find like, you know, those couple of people that you really click with, like it is a really beautiful thing. And, you know, people see growth in you too. That's one of the like, I remember one of the first times like I felt like the program was working. It was my first 30-day chip, and then a guy walked up to me and he was like, I've seen a lot of growth in you from the like first time you walked in the rooms to now and everything. And you feel me? People see that growth in you, and that's one of the most beautiful things about, you know, having those people in your corner. And like if you stick around in the program, like you will click with somebody, you will like have somebody who's like willing to go to bat for you and everything, as long as you're willing to do the same, because we don't get anything we're not willing to give away, honestly.
Exactly.
But yeah, so yeah, I remember, yeah, those are
wild times.
Yeah,
because sobriety is not always sexy, and it's not always easy.
No, it's not.
You know?
I have not always been this beautiful, you feel me? I'm playing.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and give us a little rant and tell us your story a bit.
Oh, hell yeah. You said 30 minutes? All right.
20, 30.
20, do you want 20 or 30?
You go.
It's your show, bro.
You go off of what you think.
We're not show, whatever all this is.
It's your interview. This is about you.
Okay, so just like experience, strength, and hope type shit. Okay, I'm gonna set a 20 minute timer.
What happened, what it was like, what it's like now.
All right, I'm gonna set like a 20-minute timer.
Beautiful.
All right. Like I said, I'm Xavi. I'm an alcoholic.
Wait, is it paint?
Oh, shit.
Oh, it's okay. Remember
No, it's good.
I just gave
Should I restart my time?
Yeah, restart your time.
Hey, I have a new phone case decoration. Let's go. I'm not even mad that low-key looks cool. But
it's just going to take a long time to dry.
Yeah. Okay, I'm Xavi. I'm an alcoholic and an addict. I have paint all over myself.
Do you want me to get you a napkin?
So, Jesus, I haven't done one of these in a while. I guess what it was like what happened and what it's like now. So like I don't like starting from like all the way back in my childhood. I feel like a lot of things in my childhood like don't make me an addict today, but just to paint a little bit of a picture. I was always like kind of like, if you haven't been able to tell by this video, I've always been kind of a weird dude. Like even since a kid, like I was doing WWE poses on the back of the bus. I was, you know, I always had some like random hyperfixation on something. And I was the odd one out in a lot of my classes, like whether it was because like I was growing up in Washington with a goofy ass Georgia accent because I spent the first 10 years of my life in Georgia, then moved to Seattle. So I spent a long time in Washington with just this goofy Southern accent. I was always the shortest. I wasn't really the best at anything I did. Like I was like with sports, I was like just average enough to like maybe pick up a couple girls here and there. But like in general, like I don't know, I was like picked last on like, y'all know the movies and stuff, like picked last on like the captain's teams or whatever, and like kids are bullying you and like whatever. And I don't want to say like whatever, like bullying doesn't affect you. Like I was severely bullied growing up. Like I said, I was an odd kid out, but like I said, I just don't like to blame my addiction on things. But so like being that weird kid that I was, I don't know. I always felt like, I wish I could remember his name. The best way I've ever heard it phrased is like somewhere along the line in my childhood, I turned like 14 or anything. My whole life, I felt like there was like a gun pointed at me by like other people, like anger or whatever. And then I turned 14. I started to point it back at the world. I, you know, started getting into fights. I started my first time drinking alcohol or smoking weed. I was 14. And like I was getting involved with some pretty bad people, like people that like my mom would see like pick me up from the house, and my mom would be like, what the fuck, like why is my son like hanging with these sketchy ass people? Yeah, so like I don't know, I started doing a lot of stuff just to rebel. Like something that's been true in my life and my addiction as well is and I'm not unique in this aspect. I'm aware of that I think I know more. I think I know what's best for me. Nobody can tell me nothing because you haven't you haven't gone through what I've gone through. You don't know what I've gone through. You don't know where I've been. You feel me? So like I get in my head about I'm the only person with my life experiences, so nobody else can tell me how to live my life. And then you get to AA and find out that's not true if you're anything like me. So yeah, like a lot of, I guess that's like a good way to say that's why I started drinking and smoking weed, because my mom and dad were like, I grew up in a rough area, so I knew about like, you know, what we call tweakers, and like I hate using that term because like in my head those are people, bro. Like we throw terms on them, but those are human beings, you feel me? But it's like, you know, I knew like, you know, the aftermath of drugs, I guess, like because I had relatives and I like grew up in an area where there was a huge homeless population. So I definitely knew the aftermath of drugs and everything. So my parents would like warn me against it. And then I guess I turned like 13 or 14 and I was like I was hanging out with some friends and they were like passing me a blunt or whatever. And I was like, sure, fuck it. You know, fuck my mom. You feel me? Not fuck my mom. I love you, mom. But, and yeah, so fast forward a bit, I said I took a tolerance break at like 16. I met some girl and like I was like, this woman is beautiful and I want to better my life for her. So I like started losing. I was 16 during COVID, so like I started losing weight and everything because like we weren't at school, we weren't allowed to go outside or nothing. Like that tolerance break probably lasted about a year, and then like I went through a breakup with that girl. Met with another girl who like reintroduced me to weed, and then it was up from there. And by that time I was like 18. And for a while it was fun with problems and then just problems. So for a while it was fun and like it was manageable. Like I was able to just smoke weed, drink, do a little bit of shrooms and acid here and there. You feel me? I'm a hippie. Like I'm all cool. No, but I was able to like still go to work the next day. I was able to hold down a job. I had a car in my name. I had an apartment in my name. I had like the girl of my dreams at one point, or the girl I thought was the girl of my dreams anyway. So it was like in my head I was winning. I knew I had some like insight that, you know, maybe going to, because I was a para-educator for kids with autism, and going into a school setting job hungover was probably not a good idea. So like I had some semblance of, sorry, I'm like 2021 at this point now in my story. I'm kind of leaving everybody behind, but so I had like some semblance of like it was a problem, and like, man, I'm tired of feeling like shit. But it's also like, okay, bills are paid, apartment, car, hot girlfriend, whatever. I can keep doing what I'm doing. But with that came certain behaviors. Like we hear about irritable, restless, and discontent. Like even though I had all these things, I was not happy. I always wanted more. The addict mind, like I wanted more of like whatever I had, whether it was I wanted a better car, I wanted a better apartment, because my apartment was like 500 square feet and had roaches because I was in one of them areas. But whether I wanted a better job, mind you, I love that job, but my addict mind is like, you feel me, I want a better job. Sorry to the girl if she, you know, happened to see this video, but like at the time I was like, maybe I want a better girlfriend. You feel me? It's just like, and mind you, all of these things were like amazing in my life. Like I was, for my age, like being 20 years old with all my own stuff, like I'm set, you feel me? But I just like can't slow down, and I'm getting irritated because I'm not getting everything I want. I'm so unhappy with my life. So like I'm blowing up on people at random times. You know, me and my ex are like fighting like 24/7. And it gets to a point where, you know, a little bit of a trauma dump here. February 2024, I have a suicide attempt in the back of a Safeway. Is our version of like Ralph's down here. I know there's not a lot of Safeways out here, but Safeway is like our version of Ralph's in Washington. So I had a suicide attempt in the back of a Safeway. Ambulance got called, some more shit. It was an overdose attempt. I get wheeled to the hospital and everything. They send me home same night. Like, I just wake up and they send me home same night. They don't even like send me to a psych unit or anything. I have to walk home from the hospital. It's about a 2-hour walk. And this was also my first time like praying to God because my phone was dead. So I'm like walking from the hospital. I'm looking up to God. I was like, hey, I've never done this before. It's your boy. You feel me? Like, I really need help. Like, my girl is expecting me at home. You feel me? I got work tomorrow. Like, I need to like just show me how to get home so I can like, you feel me? Like, if you're really up there anyway. Sure enough, after that, 5 minutes later, a dude comes around the corner walking his dog. I ask him for directions. He points me exactly to where I need to go. So that was my first instant. Immediately when I walked off from that guy, I was like, so you are up there, you mother... You feel me? But... no, so I get back to the apartment after walking for 2 hours, and then there's a note on the fridge from my now ex-girlfriend saying, I love you, but I cannot do this anymore. I'll be back in a couple days, get my stuff. Sure enough, she comes back a couple days later, packs all her stuff, and she is out the door. I'm in there pleading with her to talk to me and everything. She says there's nothing to talk about. So right then and there, this had been like after a year and a half of us dating, and so like we lived in the apartment together, so this was like a major part of my life gone that I took for granted and everything. The minute she left, I felt the impact instantly. It was like like I just felt this hole in my chest. So what do you think I used to fill the hole? Hold on, let me check my time. I have 10 minutes. I'm actually making perfect time right now. So like I immediately went to fill the hole with drugs. I'm not going to get too much into specific substances, but weed and alcohol were big, psychedelics, whatever, certain pills. You feel me? I'm not going to get into extremely specifics of substances, but just, you feel me? And because I'm using it to like fill a hole in my chest that, is not going to get filled with God. I know that now. I don't know where AA was at. I don't know where AA was at when I was going through that, but there's not a lot of AA where I'm from, unfortunately. That's why I'm blessed to be in California. But no, so it spirals very quickly. I spiral into, from the different mix of drugs I was doing, I spiral into psychosis. I'm also having sketchy people like run in and out of my apartment. I'm like throwing parties like late at night and shit. And it's like hella people in my apartment I don't even know the fucking names of. Sorry, I'm still cussing too much. Like, I don't know the names of all these people. And like, they're just in my apartment. That is scary. I'm talking like it's 20 of them in like a 500 square foot apartment. And I know none of these people. You feel me? And like, it's either I'm in those dangerous situations or I'm alone, like in my apartment, just using by myself. You feel me? And the first time I ever went to treatment, I had another overdose attempt. This was like 2 months after 2 or 3 months after the first one. I had another overdose attempt. I called my mom, and my mom didn't live too far away from me. So I called my mom, and I was pretty much like, I'm dying. I love you. I'm sorry I wasn't a better son to you or whatever. And the door is unlocked. Like, that's another reason I believe in God right there, because the door is unlocked when she gets there. And normally I always have my door locked, but she comes in, she opens the door. I'm like on the ground, like pretty much having a seizure. She picks me up, takes me to the ER. I get admitted to a psych ward in Washington, and I get out of there, still not able to stay sober. So I get sent to a residential in Arizona. Still not able to stay sober out of there. Matter of fact, my therapist at that treatment center actually took me to the dispensary before taking me back to the airport. Like, he dropped me off at the dispensary, and that was the therapist. You feel me? So I don't know. After that, I came out to California. And so I kind of skipped parts of my treatment journey because California is like really the meat of it. I've been out here for the longest, and it's where I've learned the absolute most. So like, being out here in California, mind you, I'm coming out of here like still fresh off addiction. You feel me? I'm like probably 130 pounds soaking wet. You feel me? And there's still like a lot of old behaviors I had learned for survival that, you know, aren't serving me anymore. And I'm having people check me on these things. Like, I'm trying to puff my chest out, be the loudest person in the room at like certain parties I'm going to. And like, you feel me? I'm having like, I moved out to California. I realized these California people are like serious. They do not play out here. Like, y'all are for real. So like, I don't know. Like I said, it was literally like, I was talking about earlier about how it was a lot of me getting knocked down and having to get back up. In some instances, like, this is kind of outside sobriety, but like, to learn about myself, I genuinely had to be punched in the face. Like, that was the kind of hard head I was. Like, until you physically hit me, I was going to say whatever I wanted. I was going to, you feel me? Because I also wasn't scared of getting hit. Like, I'm already like, you feel me? But, no, and that's like a toxic way to go about, like, just thinking like, you know, just going about life thinking I'm somebody I'm not. Like, that was very toxic. So it took like a lot. It really took a village with me just to even get to the point I'm at now. Like, even, I don't know, like a lot of people, like, it was like having like, I don't know how to describe it, but people would be behind me like correcting things I say. Because, you know, in AA, they correct like the little terms you say, like, instead of like, oh, I have to do this, like, I get to do this and everything. And it's like, you know, even the little terms I say now, certain of those terms like sticks with me now, which is crazy. But it's like in AA, like, you hear all the time, like, the only thing that needs to change is everything. And I definitely, like, I haven't changed everything yet, but it's been the process of changing everything where I'm like learning new things about myself. And, you know, sorry, I'm gonna start over. It's like the process of like fucking, I lost my train of thought. That's so embarrassing.
No, it's not. You're fine.
My ADHD fucking, no, but so yeah, like, it was a lot of falling down and getting back up, and I'm still in the process of getting back up. Spoiler alert, you're probably always going to be in the process of getting back up, but you don't have to fall down again, like, when you're in the process of standing back up, you feel me? Because, like, I'm saying, like, in the process, because we hear all the time, like, you know, you never, like, something else Kobe said in that like motivational video ever. He was like, you know, he seriously doubts that like anybody reaches their full potential. It's about what you think your potential is, and then trying to go past that. Like, because we all know Kobe like was getting up at like 3 or 4 a.m. just to like practice, and like, you feel me? That's kind of have to, like, that's the rigorousness we talk about with this program. Like, you have to like, because like I was saying earlier, I have the choice of like, I either get to go to this free program, learn some things about myself, and maybe change my life for the better, or I also get to, because I don't have to, but I also get to go back to the drugs and, you know, never learn who, you know, Xavi could have been at his core, because he was too worried about, you know, doing drugs and everything. And it's like, you know, this last one was crazy. How much time do I have? Because I actually want to talk about this a bit. 3 minutes left. So this last run was so crazy. I've lost a couple people. Somebody, he's found now, but somebody was missing. I had an overdose recently. Like, stuff got really scary for me to get to the point where I'm at now. And I was talking about those, like, oh, like, I kept like falling down and getting back up. Each time I fell down harder. Like, each time, mind you, each time I went up, I also went up higher. So it's, you feel me? But it's like, I would go down, like, I would take one step forward and like 5 steps back. Like, every time I fell down, the disease progressed. I fell down harder and harder and harder until I finally got to a point where it's like, can like everything, like, I'm literally screaming like in my brain, like, can everything please stop? Like, I don't want to be this way anymore. I'm like, I'm trying not to cry right now, actually, because it's like, it's an emotional thing to like, you know, look at yourself, not realize who you are in the mirror, and don't even know like, you know, how to begin to recognize yourself. Like, you were asking like me qualities about myself earlier. Like, it took me a long time to come up with those, like, you know, who I think I am at my core. Like, it took me a long time to come up with that, because like for a while I'm talking about, the survival mechanisms like we learned in addiction and everything. So I'm talking about like, I don't know who I am without those trauma responses, without everything I do for survival, without trying to protect myself from somebody. I don't know who I am without all of those things. So hopefully my like goal with my hope out of, continuing to do this program and bettering my life is I do not get a full sense, because I know that's like pretty unrealistic, but get a better sense of like who I am without like not feeling like I'm protecting myself from everybody. Because I use this quote so many times in meetings, but I heard in a treatment center one time, like, you can't have protection and connection. So if I'm protecting,
that's so good,
my bag from you, if I'm protecting myself from you, if I'm like putting up any types of walls, I cannot connect with you because I'm too busy focused on the wall I've put up. And my goal with, really throwing myself into this program is to hopefully maybe, take down some of those walls and be more comfortable in myself. And, if I'm like more comfortable in myself, then other people get to like know the real me and click with me on who I genuinely am, but not just who I say I am or who I tell you I am to fit like some idea of me I think you have in my head. 'Cause I think you have in your head. My fault. Like, I'm gonna start that over. Like, rather than like some idea of me I think you have in your head, or like rather than worrying about, how you perceive me, if I'm comfortable with like at least how I perceive myself, or if I'm comfortable like not really caring how other people perceive me, I'm able to connect with people a lot more, because I'm not like putting all these barriers up, which is kind of what I already said earlier, but I just had to restart the train. How much time do I have left? I have 10 seconds left, so I'm going to end on that note. But thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me about my story. Hopefully I said something that like really stuck with somebody. If not, I'm so sorry. I'll never speak again. Oh my God. No, I'm playing. But yeah, thank y'all for having me. So yeah.
Thanks, Xavi, so much. And
no problem.
Don't say sorry for shit. You just gave a fucking great ass interview, and you're going to be able to help a lot of people, and a whole lot of people are going to be able to relate to a lot that you shared. I know I could relate to a lot that you said, and I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you too. Yeah, thank you for having me. This is my first time doing anything like this, so sorry for the like camera shyness, but yeah, thank y'all for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
Fuck yeah. Cheers.